discuss Christmas since it's hitting us in the face yet again. And your article in Adelante is about that. Yeah.
For Christmas. I mean, what is Christmas to you? What is Christmas to you?
Well, I mean, I think that Christmas is all about family and friends getting together and, sharing, a certain time of the year. I know that a lot of people, celebrate it as more of a religious kind of aspect to it. But I think as an overall population, Americans, friends, family, getting together, good food, good conversation with your loved ones is pretty much what Christmas is about nowadays.
I mean, I've loved Christmas my whole life. Since birth, we've been celebrating Christmas with my family. Big dinners. I have a huge family, so we always had big dinners with the families, a lot of presents, Christmas trees, Christmas lights. Everything, I mean, the works with my family. We made tamales and turkeys. It was kind of like Mexican American because we made the American food, but we also made the Mexican food with champurrado and tamales and buñuelos, which were my favorites. I used to get into a fight with kids because they were trying to steal my buñuelos, which are like these big fried flour tortillas with sugar on top.
Oh, like okay.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. But I've loved Christmas my whole life. But then recently I've sort of been like, what is this Christmas really about? I'm like, because you know me, now I'm like all about researching everything and finding out the truth and the origins of where everything is coming from. And I was like, let me research what Christmas is coming from, like the origins of Christmas. And it was interesting what I found out according to these documentaries on YouTube. Again, like I love YouTube. I live on YouTube. I don't even have cable anymore. I just watch internet, YouTube, and all these videos. And apparently Christmas originated like way back in the day because it started out sort of a pagan holiday because I think the Catholics were trying to get the pagans to join the religion, so they were kind of like telling them, oh, we'll have a little, celebration called Christmas or whatever it used to be called back then. And, so you come and join our church and blah, blah, blah. So, that's kind of where it started. I think it was back in the Roman pagan holidays where it started. I don't know exactly what paganism is. I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously it's something that it's a group of people that what do you know? Are you familiar with paganism?
I mean, paganism is. I mean, there's all sorts of different definitions, and paganism is kind of like a blanket term for all of that. But I mean, it's a lot of celebration of the earth and what the earth is about, and the changing of the seasons. And I mean, that's why a lot of people go with the seasons greetings. When talking about the holiday time, because there's a lot of holidays that are being celebrated by different people. I mean, there's Hanukkah, there's Kwanzaa, there's Christmas, there's winter solstice. Like, there's all these specific holidays for each kind of religion and belief. So I think that, it's what it means to you personally. And I mean, there's some people, who are celebrating the birth of Christ, Christians who use that, use Christmas for that. And we're reminded of that when people say, keep Christ in the season. Christ is the reason for the season or whatever. And I mean, for some people it is, but I think for other people, there's definite other meanings. And, not everyone celebrates Christmas. And I mean, I think Christians need to realize that Christ isn't the reason for everybody's season. So I think that, it should be unique to the person. We're lucky in America that we have it as a holiday, and I think that's one of a national holiday, which is one of the nice parts, that everyone is kind of off on that day, barring the people who are forced to work, like Walmart employees and whatnot. But, I think that generally, it's kind of like a time that we can all spend together.
Well, I mean, I love Christmas. It gets everybody in a good mood, but then also it gets everybody in a bad mood when they're shopping and their credit cards are maxed out, and then they have to deal with having to pay them for the next year or so, and shopping, and they get trampled at Target on Black Friday and all these things. So I was just thinking, what has Christmas become What have we made of Christmas now? Because also there's some experts that claim Jesus Christ was not born December 25th. They claim because it was too cold, there was no way he could have been born in a little barn, stable, whatever they claim he was born in. So they say that he was born somewhere around September, October. But, they kind of just chose December 25th because there were other celebrations going on. So they kind of just said, oh, well, let's throw them all together and make, December 25th Christmas as the birth of Jesus Christ, because we don't know when he was born. So we'll just, call it that date.
I mean, I think like everything in the Bible and in, religion, none of it is a science. None of it is for 100% sure. And I mean, it's all just kind of a big guesstimation, and people translate the Bible in certain ways that aren't necessarily how it was meant. Right. And so, I mean, that's one of the big things. And it's like, it just goes back to that report that was out of Britain, I think, that said the most fanatical religious people are the people who are the most ignorant about their own religion. They don't know their own religion. So please go out there, like we always say, educate yourself and know what you're fighting for before you open your big fat mouth.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm doing my research. I mean, that's why I'm doing my research about Christmas, because I'm like, if I'm going to be celebrating Christmas, continue to celebrate Christmas, I want to know what it's about, why we celebrate it, what it's become, all that. And honestly, I sort of I'm shying away more from celebrating the big Christmas deals. I mean, what I do want to celebrate is have like a nice dinner with family and loved ones. No presents, no nothing, just a big fat meal with tamales and turkeys. And, just enjoy the family at least once a year where you can get the whole family together. Well, also Thanksgiving, but, for Christmas.
That's what I love about Thanksgiving, though, because it's everything that I love about Christmas, but no presents and all that bullshit. Because it's like, people are breaking the bank, and this is not the time of year to be going out and spending, all this kind of money on people just to show that you love them. I mean, I think there's many other ways to do that, and it's really sad that Christmas has become another way for companies and merchants to screw us over. And something that I just found out on this vein is that I guess in Jackson Heights or some community in Queens was open late for Black Friday. They were, the local merchants on one of the strips. We have a lot of strips of stores in this area. They were competing with the big Black Friday at the malls and all that kind of stuff. And I guess it was abysmal the turnout that they had at their stores, because it's just not the same. People are not supporting their local merchants, and you have to, if you want them to exist, and if you want the small business person to exist, you have to support your local folks. And don't go to Walmart all the time.
Right. Or Target.
Or any of them, any of those big stores that are putting small businesses out of business. And it's really tough for local merchants.
Yeah, but also the thing is that it's just become this big crazy thing. I mean, it's all about big drinking parties, big naked Santa Clauses, and
Santa Clauses. I want to go to that party.
Yeah, and like sexy, slutty elf girls, and what are we making of Christmas? That's like ridiculous. If indeed Jesus Christ was born that day, then okay, celebrate that part of it. But then they take it out of control. And I mean, I've partied all these Christmas events and all that stuff, but it's like now it's time for me to step back and look and be like, oh, what are we doing? What's going on here? And then cutting down Christmas trees, and which is not good for the environment. I know that most of these trees are grown for that, but if they are already grown and they're in a place where they're doing good for the environment, cleaning the air or whatever, why are you cutting them down? Don't cut them down. And then they just throw them out after a couple of weeks. And all the lights that people put on, I mean, when we were growing up in California, they had all these blocks that had all the lights, all the houses, which look beautiful and gorgeous. But I mean, how much electricity are we using up, especially now that we're not supposed to be using so much electricity? It's people have to like step back and look in and be like, what are we doing with Christmas here?
And I also saw a report about communities that are not putting up as many Christmas decorations in their main street, which is affecting the local merchants, that people aren't going out to the main streets as much anymore because they can't afford to have the big Christmas trees. I mean, we're lucky that here in New York City we have our big Rockefeller tree. But I mean, the amount of electricity that takes is a lot, and small communities just can't afford it anymore. So, I mean, we need to take the spending and the excess out of Christmas, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to, I think it's time now. It's the perfect time to take a step back, look in and see why and how you're celebrating Christmas. Like, I'm not putting any Christmas lights, no Christmas trees. I'll get in the Christmas spirit, because it's a good, positive feeling and people are cheering and all that nice. I'm not going to be able to go see my family this year, so I'm, not happy about that, but I'll get to go see them for my birthday next month, so that'll be fun.